What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky. Here in this channel, I talk a lot about dropshipping onto different marketplaces like eBay, Facebook Marketplace. We've done Amazon in the past. So if any of that interests you, make sure to check out my videos, make sure to subscribe. And then if you have any questions about what I cover in those videos, come on over to this live chat and ask me any questions that you have. I will do my best to answer those for you live. I do these every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. So we have a bunch of people here in the live chat already sending a bunch of messages. So we're going to jump into that. And let me just lower the volume a little bit. And I will answer those questions for you all. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Super glad that you're all here. Okay. What's he say here? Hey, Paul, big fan, writing from last week. I love your content and videos. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Cored says, I know you use AutoDS and you have your Chrome extension lister. So when I get AutoDS, I'll have two listing softwares because I have your lister. What would be best to get from AutoDS? Yeah, so the Chrome extension that me and my team developed is really specifically to add products to Facebook Marketplace. So if you are looking to dropship on Facebook Marketplace, that is an easy way to grab products from AutoDS, from Walmart, from Amazon, from Home Depot, and list them for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Now, it can also do that onto eBay, but quite frankly, if you are now using AutoDS with API, then there's no point in using my software, my Chrome extension, to list onto eBay, and you should just use AutoDS, and that's all you need. But for Facebook Marketplace, because there is no API, I found that the Chrome extension I developed is the easiest, most straightforward way of listing products onto Facebook Marketplace that's reliable and that you can see is actually working. So that's how I would structure it. If you're going to use Facebook Marketplace to dropship, then add the products to AutoDS. That will then send you an email if there's a price or stock level change. And once it's in AutoDS, you can then use the Chrome extension that we developed to add it from AutoDS onto Facebook Marketplace. If you're doing eBay, just connect your eBay store to AutoDS through the API, and then you can list using AutoDS. The only time you would want to use the Chrome extension with eBay is if you decide you want to go fully manual, so you don't want eBay to even know that you're using any sort of software. If that's a choice that you make, then yeah, you would want to use a Chrome extension because that's an easy way to list products and eBay will never know that you're using it. So hope that answered your question. Temu sends us tracking numbers by eBay. I'm not sure I follow. I'm not sure I understand what your question is, but I'm glad you liked that video. I made a video all about can you dropship using Temu onto places like eBay. I know Temu has become very popular recently, and I'll let you know I really like Temu for buying stuff for myself. The question is, can you use it to dropship? So definitely check out the video if you haven't already. But yeah, check that one out. All right. Yeah, so again, if you're doing eBay, then just use AutoDS and use full API so it's as automated as possible. Thank you, Marjorie, for the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Saz. I appreciate it. Says, hey, Paul, hope you're well. Love the consistency with these Q&As. Really appreciate it. Do you have an experience with Amazon Business Prime when placing orders? Do you find it gets less banned? So Amazon Business Prime, so just to kind of give people the backstory who don't know, if you are drop shipping from Amazon, we used to be able to use Amazon Prime to do that with no issues. And then within the past year and a half, Amazon basically doesn't want you doing that anymore, and your Prime account will get shut down. You can dropship using regular Amazon, But if you try to use Amazon Prime, they will close the Prime part of your account. So it's best just to use Amazon. Some people say, hey, can we use Amazon Prime Business? Well, that kind of worked for a bit, but same thing. You just want to be using regular Amazon to dropship. Any of the primes are just not going to work. Jameson says, thanks or congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, you look back there, we got a new addition to the studio, that silver play button back there. Also, I've changed up my studio as well. I used to just work with the brick background, which is still over there. It's still going to make appearances in videos as kind of like a different backdrop. But I've been working on this wall for a while now, and I thought it was finally time to kind of make it the full-time back display of my lives and a lot of my videos, because I kind of like it. So yeah, that's the newest edition over there, the silver play button. I made a video unboxing it, which was pretty fun. Can you eventually pay off AutoDS and Zeek Analytics like a car or mortgage payment? No, I think I know what you're asking. So I think what you're saying is, if you pay every single month, will there come a time where you don't have to pay anymore and you just get access to it? No, it doesn't work that way. And that's because the websites always need money to run their servers. So it's not like you can just get like a lifetime membership for them. I think maybe Zeek had like a lifetime membership plan at one point. Don't quote me on that. But as far as I know, it doesn't exist right now. So you have to pay every single month, but they keep the cost low so that you can afford to pay it every month. You're coming in clear, Stacy. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. So I wanted to remind people who may not have gotten the message, if you are a member of one of my courses, any of my courses, in the past, like when I first created the course, everyone who joined got access to a Facebook group where they could ask questions and mastermind with each other. So after a few years, I decided I wanted to try something different. So I set up my own forum on my own website. It's kind of like a private forum. So we did that for a couple of years. Quite honestly, it was a bit of a failed experiment because we immediately saw participation in the group kind of drop off, and it never really recovered. So now we're moving back to the Facebook group. We're already seeing a lot more engagement over there. And I'm letting you know that so that if you are a member of one of my courses and you've been logging into the website to ask questions and stuff like that, make sure you're now joining the Facebook group. There are instructions how to do that inside the course, inside the first lesson of the course. There's a separate group for the eBay course, one for the Amazon course, and one for the Facebook Marketplace course. So do make sure you're joining all the ones that you're a member of and that you're participating and asking questions in there. Already seeing a lot of really great questions in there, a lot of great engagement. People are pretty excited to be back in there. And it's just going to be a lot easier because most people already have Facebook accounts, are already logging in. So you already have access to that. So that's kind of the update, because at the end of this week, we are closing down the forum, that part of the website. So you won't be able to access it from there. But again, you'll be able to log into Facebook to ask questions and things like that. So do make sure you just kind of bookmark that and make those changes in your mind so you'd be updated on it. Yeah, we've been making a lot of changes with the course this year. Really exciting stuff. Like last month, we moved the entire course to a new website. All the content stayed the same for the most part. I did update a few videos, but the whole website is now updated, and that makes it so it runs better. It's going to be easier for me to make the actual logging in experience more streamlined and easier. It's going to make kind of the website easier for me to improve for you. And that's just in addition to the actual video content itself. It's kind of like the actual experience of logging in and viewing the course. That's what it's going to allow me to kind of make better. And it has already helped me make it better. Logging in is definitely a lot easier now than it used to be. And with the additional benefit of now the group is now on Facebook, which is quite honestly a lot more streamlined, better experience. I'm feeling really good about stuff because everything's kind of just like getting locked down and really, really dialed in and awesome, which I'm really excited about. And then there's going to be some updates to the course this year as well that I'm already planning out, some updates to the videos, which I'm pretty excited about because we've done some new strategies and tactics that I've tried. I've been teaching it to some people that I've been doing one-on-one coaching with, and all of them have been getting amazing results with that. So I'm eager to share that with you as well down the line once we've kind of tested it out a bit more. So all that will be coming this year. And if you are interested in checking out any of my courses, just links in the description down below, or just go to dropshippingtitans.com. Backups for Track Taco. So honestly, AutoDS has their own sort of thing built in to AutoDS, but that only really works if you use auto ordering. So that's one option that you can go with if you do want to do auto ordering. There is Track Taco, and there's another one that AutoDS has created as well. I'm just blanking on the name of it. If anyone can remember the alternative to Track Taco, please remind me, because I'm just blanking on the name at the moment. But there is another one. Stacy says, I'm wondering, when we do product research, we're seeing items on eBay that are a lot less expensive than the supplier, in this case, Walmart. Would you please explain? So you almost exclusively see this as a problem with Walmart. There are a number of reasons why people are selling items on eBay for less than you can purchase them for on Walmart themselves. There's a few reasons for this. One, some of the brands that Walmart sells, they don't have the exclusive right to sell it. So some of the sellers on eBay are actually getting it from other places. A lot of times they are doing wholesale themselves. Either they're wholesale drop shipping, or they're getting wholesale accounts where they're actually bulk ordering it, having it in their warehouse, and then shipping it out. So that's one way that it's happening. Another instance where it happens is where people will go to Walmart and they'll see a deal, like maybe whatever product you're looking at is on sale. So they'll buy up a bunch of them and then sell them from their house. Another place that you see it is unfortunately, this is a really unfortunate one, is with fraud and things like that. So people will steal credit cards, and they'll either use those credit cards to fulfill orders on Walmart, or they'll use them to buy gift cards that they'll then use to fulfill orders on Walmart. At the end of the day, they're paying nothing to get those items, and then they're selling them on eBay, which is really unfortunate. Hope those people get caught really soon, because unfortunately, a lot of people that get scammed are older folks. So it's not something that any of us think is cool at all. And it's definitely not a victimless crime at all. So yeah, that's the unfortunate reality. So if you want to combat that, just look at other suppliers. You can branch out from using Walmart. There are other ones in the course, and there's more that I'm going to be adding as well. And the other option is just look for other items if you want to stick with Walmart, because there's a lot of items on Walmart, and you don't need to be selling the exact same product that other people are selling. In fact, it's a really good strategy to look to see what items are selling well and try to find something similar, but not the exact same thing. That way you're introducing a new item to the marketplace that no one else is selling, and yet you know that that item should do well because a very similar item did well on eBay. And that's a really good strategy that's been working really well. Mark says, hey Paul, or hey man, have you ever heard of the business model drop servicing? If so, what's your opinion on it? I have heard of this, Mark, and I've made a video about it. I didn't spend a lot of time on that video talking about drop servicing, but in that video I talked about different side hustles that you can do from home with very minimal upfront investment to get started. And drop servicing was one of those. So for those of you who don't know, drop servicing is a business model where you sell a service to someone, and when they buy it from you, you just basically outsource that service by having someone else do it. So usually what this looks like is, well, the example that comes to mind for me, because I get this all the time, is I get people that message me on Instagram and say, hey, I can be your thumbnail editor for you. I'm only going to charge you $10 per thumbnail or maybe $20 per thumbnail. And a lot of times what those people will do is if I say yes to them, they'll just order those thumbnails from Fiverr for about $5 each. So they just made $10 or $5 to $15 profit, depending on how much they're charging me for it. Now, obviously, I'm privy to this. I know about this, so it's not going to work on me, but this can work. And the way that you should be looking at this is thinking about how you can bring value to your clients. So in many cases, there's going to be brick and mortar stores out there in your neighborhood that aren't very tech savvy. They don't know about websites like Fiverr. They don't know where to look to get the help that they need with things like marketing, for instance. So you can reach out to them and say, hey, I can make you advertisements. I can make you flyers. I can design them for you. I can do your Facebook ads for you. I can help you do social media. I'm just throwing out different things that businesses will find valuable. Now, even if you don't know how to do that stuff, if those people say yes, you can usually charge them a good sum of money for that. And then you outsource those various tasks to virtual assistants that you find or to people on Fiverr that you either hire one-off or you hire them on for a longer term kind of commitment. So basically what you're doing there is you're organizing all these different virtual assistants or gig workers to do all these different tasks that are required for you to give this full package to the person that you're selling it to. So that's kind of where I see the value in something like drop servicing, but it still requires work on your part because you have to be the one to reach out and actually do the marketing to get people to sign up. You have to put together these packages. You have to organize it with the virtual assistants, and you have to be on top of them. If you get something back from the virtual assistant and you're looking at it and you're like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look professional at all. Don't send that on to the client. Say to the virtual assistant, this is unacceptable. So you're kind of like gatekeeping for the client and making sure that what they get is a good, clean, polished end result. And that's going to build up your reputation. And then they're going to recommend your services to their friends as well. So again, that's really where I see the value in drop servicing. Where I don't think it's valuable is where you just kind of do like those quick one-off things like I mentioned before with the thumbnails, especially in situations where you're reaching out to people who are gonna know better and they already have a ton of people reaching out to them about the same thing. So like again, every day I get people on Instagram telling me they can make thumbnails for me. It's kind of old news at this point, and we just kind of delete those messages right away. And so there's nothing original or new or standing out there at all. And I know about Fiverr, so I know that's someplace that I can go. But there's plenty of people out there who don't, like people in your neighborhood who own the brick and mortar stores. Thank you, JR. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Your new setup looks much better than before. Thanks. I really like it. We have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. I got some of my favorite books up there, a lot of business books. We got like Russell Brunson's books, and what else we got up there? 12-week year, some old journals. We got my silver play button. We got my lightsaber. So that lightsaber right there I bought that in high school. It's like a real metal lightsaber handle, and there's a blade on it, but it's broken because I got this so long ago. I worked a job, saved all my money. This thing was not cheap, and this is what I chose to spend my money on. So I did save it and brought it here, and then I have a bunch of video game stuff. That is a signed, let me grab it. This is a toy or action figure of Chewbacca from Revenge of the Sith, and it is signed by Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca, the late, great Peter Mayhew. It says to Paul, Peter Mayhew. So I got to meet him at a convention, and he signed this for me, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's all the cool stuff on there. All right. What's up, Steven? Oh, and then that's my NFT that paid a couple $100 for and is worth pretty much nothing now. So it's a reminder, don't do risky investments. Be smart with your investing. I do like the art though, so I'm happy to have it on my wall. All right, Hoopster has a cool question. Hoopster says, Zeek Analytics labeled one of the products as Vero, but when I looked it up on eBay's Vero list, it was not listed. Is there a reason why? Yeah, there is a reason why. So Vero is eBay's verified rights owner program. It's a list of different brands that basically don't want you to use their stock images and the stock description that you'd get from like Walmart or Home Depot or Amazon without their permission, and you don't have their permission. So if a brand is on that Vero list, and if they choose to push the issue with eBay, eBay could remove any listings that you have that fall on that Vero list. And if it happens enough, you can get penalized by, usually it's like a 1-day suspension, then a 2-day, then a 3-day, then a 4-day. Although we haven't been seeing a lot of that lately. Lately, we've just been seeing them remove the listings. Either way, you want to avoid it from happening. So avoid Vero brands is basically the moral of the story, what this all boils down to. The best way to avoid Vero brands is when you are doing product research with a tool like Zeek Analytics, if a product shows up and it is a Vero product, a Vero brand, it will actually have a warning on it that says, hey, this is Vero. You might not want to list this. If you miss that, well, when you go to list the product with like AutoDS, AutoDS will also warn you and say, hey, this is a Vero product. You shouldn't list it. So you have like 2 warnings there. Now, there is an official list on eBay of all the Vero brands. However, for some crazy reason that I do not understand, that list is incomplete. Not every brand that is a Vero brand is on the Vero list. Now, I say I'm surprised. I shouldn't be, because it's eBay, and eBay does a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's the truth of the matter. And the list that AutoDS and Zeek Analytics has is much more complete. Those lists are based on not only the list on eBay, but also lists from people in the community. AutoDS in particular is able to tell if one of their customers gets a listing removed because of a Vero violation. They're able to see that, and they add that brand to the Vero list. So it's probably the most complete list out there. Natasha says, I'm interested in your course. My eBay account is currently banned. Does your course cover how to create a new one? It sort of does, but to be honest, if your account on eBay is banned, it is going to be it's going to be very hard to create a new one. And that's because eBay has all of your information. And if you try to create a new one, they're going to see that it's you, and they're going to say, hey, you're not supposed to have a new account, and that new account's going to get banned as well. So there is some information in the course about a way around that, sort of, but it's not the best solution. But there's really no solution out there that's not like a black hat solution that I think you should just, all those solutions I think you should just totally avoid because they're really sketchy. So unfortunately, the best thing for you to do is try to get your account unbanned so that you can start selling again. Debbie, I'm not sure what your question is. I don't quite get it. No, we haven't seen Amazon ban anyone's Amazon account for drop shipping from Amazon as long as they're not using Amazon Prime. I don't know if that makes any sense. I said it a weird way. Basically, if you drop ship from Amazon to eBay, Facebook, Marketplace, wherever, you're going to be fine with Amazon as long as you don't use Prime. The Facebook Marketplace course is open for enrollment. You can just go down into the description of this video and sign up. I think you can even just go to dropshippingtitans.com/Facebook, or just go to dropshippingtitans.com and there'll be a button on the page to sign up. Yeah, I've decided just to leave it open full time now. How many sales did you make your first month when you started dropshipping? I honestly don't know. I used to keep a blog back then, but I didn't back up that blog. It was on Wix and it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know those exact numbers, and I don't think I can go back in eBay that far to see. So honestly, I don't know. It wasn't a lot, but it didn't matter. I made one sale and I was ecstatic. I was so excited about that. So I don't remember the exact number though. What do I think, Junior wants to know, about drop shipping from eBay to eBay? Sounds a little cannibalistic to me, but a lot of people actually do this. Now, there are some pros and cons of this. So the pros of this are that there's lots of products on eBay. eBay is a good supplier to dropship from in general. We dropship eBay to Facebook. I've seen people dropship eBay to other places like Etsy, for instance. It is a good place to dropship from because you get seller protections. You're always going to get a tracking number. Items have to be shipped out within a certain amount of time. And there is such a huge variety of products and usually good prices as well. The drawback of it is that, one, the tracking number that you get, you cannot now upload that tracking number into your eBay account for your sale because any tracking number cannot be used more than once on eBay. So if a seller sells you a product, they're going to message you the tracking number, and that tracking number you now can't put in to your order that someone, placed for that same item. You have to get a new tracking number. Now, there are ways around that using things like TrackTaco and AutoDS and Aqualine and things like that. So there are solutions for that part of it, but it is an extra thing you have to worry about. The other problem with dropshipping eBay to eBay is, well, I think is pretty obvious, is that you're now competing with the person that you're buying from. And of course, they are going to have a cheaper price than you. Now, the way that people justify doing it, or that's not a good word, the reason people still do it and why it works for them is because usually what they'll do is they'll look for products that are being sold that aren't really in the right category, or it could be in another category. And when they see that, they'll now list that product in the better category or even a different category. It doesn't necessarily have to be better. And once the product sells, because now they're not showing up in the same search results, they'll just buy it from the other eBay seller, and then you know how it goes. So that's where it can work. But again, you're just running into the issue of where you're competing against the exact person that you're buying from. So it can be a bit tricky. Personally, it's not something I've spent, I think it's really worth my time, but I understand why people do it. Odima says, hey, Paul, can you speak on how taxes handle dropshipping on Facebook? Oh, dropshipping on Facebook. Does a dropshipper need to register with the IRS? Yeah, so first thing I'll say is I'm not a tax professional. I'm not a tax lawyer. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a bookkeeper. I can't really give any specific advice about this. I'll just tell you what I've kind of thought about when it comes to this, which is probably wrong. So first thing you got to know is that if you're a United States citizen, you have to pay sales tax. Sorry, you have to pay income tax on money that you make. Now, if you don't make enough money overall, you don't have to pay income tax. There are deductions. There's all sorts of ways you can save money on taxes and things like that. But in general, you make money, you owe taxes on it in the United States. So that's the first thing. And that includes if you make money on Facebook Marketplace. you're going to owe money on the profit that you make. And that's the other part of it. You only get taxed on the profit that you make. So let's say you do $100,000 in sales, but it costs you $100,000 to run your business. You've made $0. So theoretically, you wouldn't owe any money on that. But that's an extreme example. It makes more sense saying you do $100,000 in sales and you make $20,000 in profit because you had $80,000 in expenses. Well, then that 20 grand is what you get taxed on. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It gets a little bit tricky with Facebook. This is one of the reasons I don't like it. It's because when you're selling on Facebook Marketplace, you have to sell under your profile, and you get a 1099 that's sent to you as an individual. When you sell using Facebook Shops, you can register as a business, meaning your business can get the 1099, which is really how you want it to be. That's how it is on like eBay and Amazon, for instance. So that's just kind of some general information about it. So Javier says, hey, Paul, I started eBay dropshipping about 2 weeks ago. I've made 12 sales. So congratulations. My question, did you guys hear that applause? Let's try it again. My question is, what's your question? What is a good profit percentage and profit in dollars have set in AutoDS software when in the process of listing your product to ensure profit each time and not have to check the profit manually and having AutoDS take care of that? All right, so when you're setting up AutoDS, you can put in there by how much you want AutoDS to mark up the price of your items. So you have to make sure those settings are correct. It's going to ask you what your fees are going to be. So for that, you want to factor in your eBay fees and any sales tax that you would owe your supplier as well, depending on if you're tax exempt or not. So you want all of that included inside those settings for AutoDS. First, set it up so you're just break even, meaning that if the settings are correct, then whatever AutoDS lists it for on eBay means you'll break even. You won't make any money, but you won't lose any money either. Then on top of that, AutoDS has a field for your profit percentage. And that's where you want to fill in by how much you want to increase your profit or how much profit you want. So you start out low and then you slowly increase it and just see how it affects your sales. If it drops too quickly, then go down by 1% and kind of stay right there. But the first thing you really have to nail down is your break even. That's different for everyone because if you have an eBay store subscription, it's going to be lower. On a basic store, higher. If you're tax exempt, it's going to be lower. And there's other factors as well. Like if you're below standard, it's going to be higher in some cases. So you have to factor in all that stuff. Oh, nice. Oh, they did not. Oh, no. Oh, that's a problem. So definitely reach out to the accountant and say, hey, what gives? Because they messed up for sure. Okay, Slice of Life says, hey, Mr. Paul, I was wondering if selling electronics from Walmart was a good idea. If not, are there wholesalers who sell name brand electronics? So selling electronics from Walmart isn't usually the best idea for a number of reasons. First, there's going to be a lot of other people selling those name brand electronics on eBay. So it's going to be hard to compete. Second of all, it's very easy for consumers to look up the product and find out if it's being sold somewhere else for cheaper. And you see this a lot with electronics. If I'm selling a piece of furniture, I don't have to put the brand name of that furniture. I can just sell it as some sort of generic furniture and people won't know how to look it up on another website to see if it's cheaper. Electronics, people do know how to look it up and they do look it up. That's one of the categories of items that people are always making sure that they get the best deal on. A lot of other categories, people don't do that. Categories like furniture, like I said before. So electronics, people will search for and see if they can find it somewhere cheaper. And it's easy for them to do that as well with something like a model number. Also, the problem with Walmart and electronics is that a lot of times if you are drop shipping those products, as you begin to order more of them, Walmart will actually stop you from ordering them and say you can only order a couple of these a day or a couple of them every few days, which creates problems as well for drop shippers. So those are all issues that I have with drop shipping electronics from Walmart. You can always try to find a wholesaler for anything out there by looking on Google and looking on different what are they called, like trade shows and things like that. But I'm willing to bet for branded electronics, it's going to be hard to get those, and I'm willing to bet that for branded electronics, I don't think you're going to find someone who's willing to drop ship them for you. Stacy says, one more question. Hey, keep them coming. Would you remind us about whether or not we should include mainstays or other house brands in the title? All right. So in general, when you're listing a product, I suggest that you rewrite the title to make it better. In general, my rule of thumb is don't put the brand name in the title. Most of the brands that we are going to be selling, because we are avoiding Vero brands, which are usually more well-known brands, because we're avoiding like those electronics, like I mentioned before. So the brands that we end up with are brands that people usually haven't heard of, that don't really have selling value. So for that reason, I usually say don't include them in the title because there's no point in it. It's not going to help sell it. There are some exceptions to that because there's an overlap there of products that are created by a brand that's well known and reputable, but there's nothing wrong with selling that brand. It's not on the Vero list or anything like that. So it's a good brand that we can sell. So in that case, yeah, you could put it in the title. So it's hard to know what that is, what those brands are, unless you have experience with these products or have a lot more experience drop shipping. So err on the side of not including the brand in the title. Certainly for something like a house brand, like Mainstays, I don't include those at all. If it's any sort of brand that's owned by the supplier, I don't include those at all because I don't think those have a lot of value outside of something like Walmart or whatever website's selling it. Is $300 enough to get started with drop shipping? Let me drink some water here. Yeah. So if the ideal situation is you'll have a credit card that you can fulfill the orders because you don't get the money right away. eBay is not going to release the money to you right away. So you're not going to be able to use the proceeds from the sale to actually fulfill the order. You have to buy it from your supplier and then ship it, and the supplier will ship it, and then eBay will release the money to you later, which you can then use to pay off the credit card and keep the rest as profit. So credit card is the best solution to be able to do that. But if you don't have a credit card, then you'll want to use like a debit card, and you'll want a few $100s on there. $300 is probably just enough. Just know you're going to have to kind of scale slowly until you build up more money in your bank account to be able to fulfill more orders. Is there a video you have on the shipping and how that works? Again, I'm not quite sure what you mean. In general, shipping with drop shipping is really easy because all you're doing is ordering the items from your suppliers, and the suppliers are shipping them directly to your customers. So you don't have to worry about shipping at all. You don't have to worry about shipping labels or boxing them up. All that's handled for you by the supplier. Yeah, no problem. Reach out to them about it. There could be something that you have in your account that there's a reason it's off, but without looking at your account, I'm not sure. So it's best to kind of reach out to them about that. Mike D is here. What's up, Mike? Says, have you used Sam's Club at all? Do they offer free shipping and tax exemption? I don't remember if they do free shipping and tax exemption. I mean, I know they do free shipping, but I don't remember what the cutoff is for that, if there is one. And the reason for that is because Sam's Club isn't great to drop ship from, because after about 5 or 6 orders, they basically say, hey, you can't ship to any more addresses this month. You can only ship to 5 different addresses or 6, whatever it is, within a month, and then you're out of luck. So really, if you wanted to do well with it, you would have to have like multiple Sam's Clubs accounts, which doesn't really seem practical. When listing products using AutoDS, is there a section to fill out tax information? Thank you. So you want to set it up before you even list products. You want to go into your settings on AutoDS, because in your settings, that's where you're going to put in your tax information. But when you are listing the item on AutoDS, you can choose, instead of publishing it directly to the store, you first want to actually edit the draft. So send it to drafts, edit it, because you can go in there and update anything you want with the price. So let's say for Walmart, normally you want a certain percentage of a markup, but let's say for one item, for whatever reason, you want a higher markup. Well, when you list the item, you can send it to drafts, go into that draft, and change the markup, and then publish the item at the new price, or edit it later after you actually list it inside AutoDS to increase the margin. Is Facebook Marketplace dropshipping only available in the United States? Basically, yes. So it is available, I think, in like a couple other countries, but it's been kind of slow to roll out. And for all intents and purposes, what is it? All intents, I always say it wrong. It's only available in the United States. So Demetrius, same kind of answer as before. You can drop ship with very little money, but you will need some sort of like credit card or something like that to fulfill your orders until the money's actually released to you by the marketplace. David says, why are these things always so big? David says, I tried dropshipping on Facebook Marketplace, but I barely got any views and no sales. Should I try again with a new Facebook account or transition to eBay? Thank you. It's up to you, man. I haven't looked at your Facebook account, so I don't know what you did, how many products you had listed, what your markup was, how you were doing product research, how you were optimizing your titles. All those things and a couple of other things as well, all will affect whether you make sales or not and how well you do. So it could be that you got some of that stuff wrong or it wasn't the best, but it could be just that, if you're frustrated by it, you can just try eBay instead. But those are some of the things I would look at. eBay and Facebook Marketplace and some Amazon as well. There we go. Oh, Marjorie, really coming in with the knowledge. Says Sam's Club gives you 10 free addresses. After that, you pay. There you go. So as long as you factor in the cost to the items you sell of how much it costs, then you're good to go. So I'm assuming it's like free shipping to 10 addresses, and after that, you have to pay for shipping. So as long as you mark up your items enough, you'll be able to cover that. Mike says, I see a seller using Sam's Club and it's clear they have free shipping and are shipping to multiple addresses. Can't figure out how. Don't think they're shipping themselves as a profit margin isn't there. So I just thought of something like that could be the answer. So my initial kind of thought was, well, the only way they would be able to do that is if they have multiple Sam's Club accounts, right? But I have a Sam's Club account. I know it costs money. So the cost of Sam's Club, let's see how much it is, because I don't remember off the top of my head. It's $45, right? So $45 a year will get you 10 addresses per month, if I understand that correctly. Or is it 10 addresses per account? Well, either way, what I'm thinking is that these people are not paying $45 every time they create a new Sam's Club account. I'm thinking that they are finding ways to get accounts for free. And I think that's really the trick here. So there are ways you can kind of get a Sam's Club account membership free or basically free. So for instance, I know when I signed up, it cost me $45, but then I got a $45 gift card to Sam's Club, which basically made it free to have a membership with them. And if you're able to replicate that over and over and over again and use those gift cards online anyway when fulfilling orders, then you just basically have an infinite number of free accounts. I'm just talking some ideas off the top of my head to kind of explain this. Look into it, see if that's possible. You would, I don't know if they track things like your IP address and your cookies. If that's the case, you want to get a VPN. And I would also recommend using something like Firefox, which allows you to have these things called containers. You'd have to look up how to add multi-login containers, I believe they're called, to Firefox. And basically what that is you can have one Firefox window open and have 10 different tabs and be logged into the same website on each tab, but under a different account. So you know how normally, like if you're logging into your Facebook account, you can only be logged into one Facebook account on your browser. So this will allow you to log into 10 different ones. And you could do the same thing with Sam's Club. So I'm just kind of throwing some ideas out there that might be helpful, or it might not be. You're going to kind of have to experiment and see if that's the direction that you want to go. Count, that's what they told me. Yeah, so then, yes, I guess even harder, but it sounds like they're just finding ways to have free accounts and you're just kind of churning and burning them. Interesting. Yeah, but if anyone tries that and it works or it doesn't work, let me know because I'd be interested. All right, so we got through all of the questions. If you enjoyed the content and got value out of it, make sure to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos about how to dropship and make money online. We do these every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, so feel free to join and ask any questions that you have. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.